Yes, but the evolution of Spice Girls because where Victoria that was the most attractive, she was the crappiest singer, wasn't she? But saying that, I was very mistaken with that actually. She was the most attractive one, was Victoria Spice. Posh Spice, that's right. Compared to the rest, Victoria was the most attractive one, but she was the less talented, wasn't she? Depends how you define less talented, because as much as, there will be better singers than other singers within the band, like, Westline, Shane, and the other Shane fella, they were the two good, the best singers. Boyzone were like Rory Keaton, and Stephen Gaylor. So you will have your better singers that, not necessarily better singers, but you will have your better singers in that type of sense. And it's like, take that, Gary Barlow and Bobby Williams. And sometimes things don't get suppressed. I learned that with Boyzone. It was the Michael guy. When you think of Boyzone, right, you think about Rory Keaton, you think about Stephen Gaylor, you think about Shane Lynch, you think about, what's the other one called? Keith, is it Keith something? But I could not remember the guy called Michael, and watching that documentary proved that fact. And it really affected him positively. It really affected his mental health, and how we were type of pushed into the background. So you can understand with boy bands, how you think about it, though, 15, 16 when boys on tap took off. So to go, but you won't get your better singers while you're we front singers. And that's just type of normal. That's normal. Anyway, the Spice Girls, Posh Spice was the most attractive one out of all of them, but not as good of a singer. Baby Spice, she wasn't good, she wasn't great, just that a normal type of voice, Baby Spice. Scary Spice, now she could battle a couple of tunes. Sporty Spice was the best singer. Sporty Spice was a bit of a tomboy, wasn't she? Yeah, she's a bit of a tomboy, Sporty Spice. And Sporty Spice. Still, listen, they're all attractive, of course, yeah. Of course, yeah, but she was more like a football type of character, wasn't she, Sporty Spice? What's the other one? Jerry Halliwell. Now, she was an attractive, feisty one. She was the more feisty one, wasn't she? Depends how you define feisty. I suppose we was all feisty in their own little way. I'm a good Baby Spice, she might look like a baby, but she was a little warrior, wasn't she? Or fucking Baby Spice. So they still had that type of strength there with each individual strength of Spice Girls. And it was synonymous with girl power, wasn't there? That took off the Spice Girls. Like fucking Beatlemania, the Spice Girls, wasn't there? Spice Girls, like Beatlemania. And I know when they met King Charles, Prince Charles at the time, they brought all the royal protocols. You're not supposed to have a laugh with the prince when you meet relative. They broke all that thing, didn't they? They brought the boundaries between, what you shouldn't do and what you should do. Had a bit of a cheeky went with Prince Charles, that type of stuff, a bit of a laugh. Fantastic, girl power spreading around the globe, and young girls going to see the Spice Girls and that type of stuff. It was a generation of women power, girl power, wasn't it, you people? Of course it was. And the Spice Girls played a massive part into so many positive things. And young girls, and almost like the beginning of people like Taylor Swift, they opened the floodgate like for Taylor Swift in the music industry. A bit like how Margaret Thatcher opened up the political spectrum for women in politics. Spice Girls were like that. That time in history, merging from the 90s to social media, where we are today with that type of thing. You understand? Sometimes I'm in the element like this. Sometimes I'm in the passion. Sometimes I'm fucking, you understand, you people? Fucking power. I'm not going to make a girl power again. I'm just speaking about the Spice Girls and singing, that's right. And now Victoria Spice. She was less talented in singing ability, but I've not heard her sing on her own, to be quite fair. I've not heard her sing on her own, so I don't know what she's like at singing. But she was the most attractive. Come on. Do you think any of the other Spice Girls would have turned David Beckham's side? Get out of here, packing in nowhere. I think Sporty Spice was a bit jealous. Yeah, I do. I think Sporty Spice really, fancied David Beckham. Because how can you not? You see, not everyone does, I suppose. But I reckon Sporty Spice was a little bit of jealousy, like with Victoria and David. And if Victoria would say to Sporty Spice, Mel Mel C, that's right, Mel C. I'll be speaking to David today, and she'd be like, "Oh God, Victoria, you're going on about David again, just pack it, dude." She goes, maybe that's just an assumption that I'm right, I'm thinking. I mean, maybe not for too long of a time, maybe not for a little bit of jealousy. The Beckhams is an incredible story. I watched the one on Netflix. I found that fascinating. People have no idea what Victoria's been as a family, but Victoria, never mind the family, but we've got David and we've got Victoria. I'm talking about Victoria, not David. I'm talking about the things Victoria has to put up with and go through to support David. Do you know what I'm saying? You're moving to Milan, moving to Spain, having to deal with that. You know, being on her own, isolated, the fame and fortune of David, type of Beckham. What she went through, David Beckham, and what, she put up a lot. She really did. That is one strength of a woman is Victoria Beckham. And I got so much from watching that Netflix documentary. So much. Because that's my way of thinking of people. I probably get in the minds, I probably get in that environment. I probably see it from... I think when they moved to... I think when David woke up Milan, and I was at a press conference, and with David just, signed his, he's saying that he's, really proud to be in Milan and all that type of stuff. I felt fucking so sorry for Victoria when he says something like, it basically put Victoria, below football. And I wish he would have said, my wife is... I kind of knew what he meant in some regards, but at the same time, I wish he would have given Victoria a bit of a mention, because it went from him saying, I'm proud to be in Milan and football is my first passion. It didn't really give Victoria much credit, did it, in that type of sense, because the camera went to Victoria, didn't it? It did, yeah. It showed her respond to what he was saying, as in almost like, she didn't mean, not mean anything, but he should have given more of a recognition, basically. And you think about her life, you think about, what she's had to go through, and then as a family, with, David Beckham's relationship with Rebecca Lewis and Victoria having to deal with that. You understand it from Rebecca Lewis' situation, of course you do, with all that type of stuff, and it's horrible being in that type of platform for the Beckhams to have your private life made public and all these things where people get to discuss your life like it's their business. It's a horrible part about being a celebrity, being in that environment, and the Beckhams have been through loads of things of that nature. Headlines and people gossiping, and while they're sat at home or arguing, and Victoria's sat there and she's crying, and she's alone, and she's isolated you people, knowing that she's going to wake up to another headline or another article. To go through that takes some doing. It really does. I've got nothing but the utmost admiration for your person like Victoria Beckham and David, and as a family. The children have to do indirect, things on social media and gossip. You understand? They're a beautiful family. The people so much. But you know what? That's life. You get through the good times and the bad times, don't you? But you get through it, you stick through it together, and you come through it, don't you, people? Do you understand? You come through it. As difficult as it is, for them, what they've been through, their reality of their life, going for the last 20 years, and anyway, just a few words later, people.